Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Ravensway, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Our invocation today will be delivered by Chaplain Robert Bostick from Alliance Church of Christ, Fort Worth. Thank you for coming out today, sir. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Father, I pray that today we recognize how rich we are, that you have blessed us with such a beautiful day. Father, I pray that you be with this commissioner's courts, and that, Father, you bless their lives, that you bless the lives of their families that share them with us. We pray that you continue to bless our men and women who are in armed field of conflict. And I pray today, Father, that indeed the decisions that are made by this courts, that you give them wisdom coupled with common sense as they do our business. In Jesus we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to these, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
I forgot to put my hands on.
And you forgot the Texas pledge.
Yes.
Your Honor, members of the court, we have one announcement for you this morning that is located on the administrator section. Item 9A9 this concerns a change order to 2L Construction. We're going to ask that that particular agenda item be held for 1 week. We'll put it back on next week. We need to do some corrections on it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of April the 7th.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have a couple of resolutions and a certificate of appreciation today. We'll begin with a memorial resolution. Commissioner Brooks.
Your Honor, I present and move approval of the memorial resolution honoring the life of a beloved and honorable man of Tarrant County, the former mayor of Benbrook, Felix T. Bear, who passed away last week. The resolution has already been presented to the family, so I move its ratification.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We will definitely miss him. Commissioner Johnson, you have a resolution.
Yes, I have a resolution, Texas Agri-Life Extension volunteers. If you would please read that into the record.
Whereas volunteering of one's time and resources is an essential part of the spirit, essence, and tradition of our country, and is increasingly recognized as a key partner of government, education, and industry in doing the work of our nation. And whereas it is ever more in evidence that our nation's greatest resource is its people, who possess many skills and talents which they generously and enthusiastically apply to a variety of community tasks. And whereas the people of Tarrant County benefit from the deeds of these selfless and dedicated individuals, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby honor and thank the dedicated volunteers of the Texas Agri-Life Extension who give so freely of their valuable time, energy, and abilities to serve the people of Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we have heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 14th day of April, 2009.
Move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
I'd like to ask Dana Tarter, Director of AgriLife Extension, to meet me at the podium, and I'll present our resolution. Pardon my voice today, I'm about to lose it, but thank you very much for working with these volunteers and for all the work that you and the volunteers do.
Thank you.
Any comments you'd like to make?
Well, first of all, if I might, good morning, Your Honor, members of the court. I would like to ask our volunteers to stand up that are here with us today.
Please, y'all stand.
And thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning to recognize them. They are such a valuable part of our extension program and the service that they give to Tarrant County. I'm going to give you a few numbers to reflect what they do, but it is certainly invaluable. Words really can't express exactly all of the things that they do for us. But to give you an idea, last year in Tarrant County, 2008, our volunteers gave over 63,000 hours of volunteer service. When you put the pen to the paper, that is the equivalent of over $1 million in volunteer service. When you think about that, and again put the pen to the paper, that would be the equivalent of having 35 additional staff members in our office. So that's very significant. And in 2008, over 1,000 Tarrant County residents were involved in activities that volunteers taught or worked with. So they do have a significant impact. Their goal is to get out there and bring educational information to the people who live in Tarrant County, and we certainly appreciate that. And thank you again for allowing us to honor them this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have a certificate of appreciation.
I have a certificate of appreciation for Pat Higgins, Texas AgriLife volunteer, who has volunteered over, 789 hours in 2008. If you would read that into the record, please.
You bet. In recognition and appreciation of the loyal and valuable services to the citizens of Tarrant County, Texas, as co-chair of the Community Garden Project at the Resource Connection, where she served as a master gardener specialist in the areas of vegetables, big word. That word. I'll let you say it again, propagation. And you just read, sometimes you don't get a chance to read these things ahead of time. And these words just kind of jump right up on you there. And greenhouse management, as well as for donating 789 hours of volunteer service in 2008. Our sincere thanks accompany this expression of our gratitude. Pat, we do very, very much appreciate all of the time that you've given to the citizens of Tarrant County.
I move for approval.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Let's give her a great round of applause.
I have to say to Pat and the other AgriLife volunteers and gardeners who helped set up that program and who maintain it, that the community truly appreciates it. The area schools appreciate it. It is a best practice in our community, and thank you for all you've done to help make it successful.
Thank you, sir. I want to thank the court for giving for this proclamation, giving me the honor of accepting it. It's a big honor to me, and I have enjoyed every minute of the Master Gardeners that I've been in since I retired. We're not only just gardeners, but we're also educators and in the field of gardening, horticulture, and environment and water conservation to help the county and the state. And thank you again for this big honor.
Thank you, Pat, very much.
Thank you.
I think we need to thank them also for the refreshments they furnished in here this morning. That was very nice. Thank you.
Court members, you have before you the consent agenda with the one exception that Mr. Maney has brought to our attention.
Move approval of the consent agenda except for item 9A9.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Maney.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have two additional items for you this morning. On item number one, we're requesting that the court approve the submission of a grant application to the Department of Justice for the county's reentry model program.
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number two, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve the submittal of an application for the 2009 Homeland Security Grant Program to the North Central Texas Regional Emergency Preparedness Advisory Committee. I'm starting to sound like you.
Those were easy. Homeland. I can handle Homeland.
Move approval.
Propagation. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please
That's what
vote.
we can get Mr. Manius to his seat.
Motion passes unanimously.
Commissioner, I appreciate all the help I can get these days. Thank you.
Ms. Tidwell.
This morning, we're asking that the Commissioners Court receive and follow the auditor's report on the JP Precinct 7, and we'll continue to work with the Justice of the Peace to try to make sure that the financial activities are monitored and accurate.
Move approval.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Sound like he's having a problem keeping his chief clerk or whatever it is out there.
Ms. Cologne?
I move to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Good to see you, Ms. Bland.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Your Honor. We're requesting this morning that the Commissioners Court approve changes to the agreements with the Texas Conference of Urban Counties for the Common Integrated Justice Tech Share Project to complete activities approved by Commissioners Court as a part of our Integrated Justice Project for 2009. I would like to take a moment and say that we have taken this phased approach because with the collaboration of other counties, we've expected to start seeing some benefit to us. Because of modifications they have made and changes they've made, we see a reduction in our budget on this project of $160,000 approximately. That type of collaboration has given us an excellent effort to move forward with our juvenile project, which we also should be putting in place somewhere later in the year, and that will be history. That will be truly history, counties working together to put software systems in. Tomorrow morning, we will meet with Dallas County to begin connecting our networks. When we do that, we'll truly become a regional IT entity, and that's something I truly look forward to. Thanks for your support.
Congratulations,
Yes.
Steve, and thank you. Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Good work.
Ms. Brewer? You bringing us any more information today on the Tar Heels?
What else is there to say?
Bringing that up, I would reiterate what GK said. They're a good basketball team. Looking forward to next year. We're seeking your approval today of a lease agreement between Tarrant County Public Health and Halawa View Apartments, otherwise known as Riverbend Properties.
You want the judge to help you with?
No.
Move approval.
Second.
We'll start sharing the pain up here. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
I notice, Commissioner Johnson, you come in with hoarse voice now, just for fear that I might. Commissioner Brooks, I believe you had an interlocal agreement.
Yes, you caught me.
Yeah, we kind of, Beecham decided not to have anything on open agenda today, so.
What a great day they were going to
It really is.
I move approval of the interlocal agreement 8K 1A and B, an interlocal with the city of Fort Worth for the reconstruction of Old Crowley Cleburne Road, a project that needed to be done a long time ago.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson?
I have an interlocal agreement with the city of Saginaw to fog seal of Burleson Road from McElroy Boulevard to Minton Road, and I would move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Appointments. There being none, you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move for approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Muniz?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have several items for the court this morning. The first one concerns an update on the activities and programs of Challenge. Ms. McFarland is here to address the court at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm impressed with how you move through an agenda. It's amazing.
This was a slow day.
Thank you for letting me come and talk to you today about one of the programs at Tarrant County Challenge. The name of our program is the Tarrant County Family Drug Court, and it is really an honor to speak to this court today because I know that you have been so committed to substance abuse treatment in our community, and the opportunity to come and tell you about what we've been doing for the past year is really something I'm very excited to do. My name is Holly McFarland, and I work for Tarrant County Challenge, and I'm joined this morning with my colleagues, Jennifer Gilley and John Haynes, and actually one of our board members, Larry Thompson, is here today as well. So thank you guys for joining me. I am a strange combination of law and social work. I spent lots of years in school to get my law degree and my master's in social work, and a couple of years ago I was approached to supervise the Family Drug Court. I'm in charge of the daily operations of this program. And so if you will allow me, I'll walk you through a little bit about what we do, and I will try not to go over my 15 minutes. So there we go. Everyone asks me, what is a family drug court? Well, essentially, it's a family drug court is a problem-solving court that looks at the broad societal problem of women who use drugs while they're pregnant. And so what we do is we intervene with those families to help get them into treatment, to help to get the parents into treatment as soon as possible, with our goal being to reunify parents with their children so that the children do not grow up in foster care. That's our broad goal. We have several drug court components that we follow, and one of the most important ones is we have frequent judicial oversight. And you'll see Judge Ellen Smith there in the picture, and she is our family drug court judge, and our clients see her regularly. So I'll move quickly. We started this program a couple of years ago, and really this was a vision of Judge Jean Boyd. She talks eloquently about seeing the cycle of families who come in and out of her courtroom who give birth to these children, and these children who then grow up in foster care. She says that she was brokenhearted by these cases, and so she came forward and went to the community and said, we need to do something different, and that was the creation of the Family Drug Court. But then we had to go get some money, and so we went to the Sid Richardson Foundation and the Ryan Foundation, both of which have been extremely generous in supporting our program, and that's how we got started. There are a lot of words there about the benefits to our community, but I really want to highlight one thing, and that is that, yes, we do help families get to a better place where they're safe, they're stable, and they're sober. We also want to make sure that children can be returned to those families and that they grow up in, safe environments. But really, what I hope is that in the end, what we're doing is breaking the generational cycle of abuse. I can't tell you how many of my clients say to me, my mom introduced me to meth. My dad encouraged me to drink when I was 12. I hear that all the time. And what I hope is with the Family Drug Court, and we're doing this every day, is that we're teaching these parents how to parent without drugs and alcohol. And so their children will grow up and won't be exposed to those same kinds of risks that they were. So who is involved at the Family Drug Court? And this was the part I don't think anybody anticipated. We have a core group of people, core group of agencies that we work with. They work with us on a daily basis and with all of our clients on a daily basis. You'll see there obviously the 323rd District Court, which is Judge Jean Boyd's court, and our Judge Ellen Smith is our Family Drug Court judge. But CPS, Child Protective Services, is our major partner. They've dedicated 2 caseworkers just to work with our Family Drug Court clients. Obviously, Tarrant County Challenge, where I work. Lena Pope Home provides the intensive case management services for the parents. And that is really, they do everything. They help these parents with helping them with housing, GED, job search, getting a resume together, helping them with Medicaid, signing up for TANF. I mean, just a whole slew of services they help with. And then we also, one of the partners I really want to highlight, because this is so exciting to us, is we work very closely with MHMR Early Childhood Intervention. And ECI just announced to us a couple of months ago that they are hiring one person to work exclusively with Family Drug Court children. The reason they like working with us is because we intervene when that child is born. And so they get an immediate, direct relationship with that child, and they get to follow that child until he or she turns 3. And so for them, it's a benefit because they really get a lot of information. For us, it's great because we have more eyes on the family, and ECI provides us so much information and so much support for these families. So I just really appreciate how much some of our core partners have done to make sure this program's working. We also have treatment providers that have been extremely helpful. Recovery Resource Council does all of our assessments, and then many of our clients go to either Volunteers of America or they go get treatment at MHMR, the CATS program, Pine Street too. And then with housing is a very difficult issue. But Union Gospel Mission has been extremely helpful, and MHMR provides housing through their Shelter Plus program. So you see how we're pulling together all of these community resources to impact these families. But this is the exciting thing to me. As we started this past year, whenever we would go out and tell people what we were doing, I couldn't believe the response we got from the community. We have law interns from Texas Wesleyan Law School who help us with things. We have a private investigation company that actually helps us with the warrants that many of our clients have. CASA, of course, is involved on a daily basis with our kids. So the response from the community has just been remarkable. But if you'll notice in the picture there, we've had more than 20 families involved in our program, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about our most recent graduate. I've changed her name. Her name is Maria in my story, but these are her children. That is Joseph. He is 6 years old, and that's his little sister, Eva. And she's obviously in this picture. She's just about 2 months old in that picture, but she's now almost a year, actually over a year. And their mother, Maria, came into Family Drug Court when she gave birth to Eva, and she was exposed to cocaine. Maria tells us that she grew up in a really violent family, physically and sexually abused by both her father and her uncle, and she was just traumatized through most of her childhood. She ended up in this area, and then, like a lot of women who experienced trauma of that sort, she was involved in several different relationships, all of which were abusive. And these are her children, and when Eva was born, Child Protective Services did an investigation, removed the children, and then placed them in the foster care. Maria immediately came into the Family Drug Court program, entered VOA Light, where she received intensive inpatient services, and she did really well while she was there, and then she started going to the Women's Center to receive individual counseling to address the trauma that she had experienced. We had a little blip while she was there. The VOA staff learned that Maria was encouraging her little boy there, Joseph, to fight other children. she would stand alongside and cheer while he did that. Well, we found out about that. We confronted her immediately, and with the help of her Women's Center counselor, the Lena Pope home case manager, the counselors there at VOA Light, and her CPS caseworker, we got her involved in a lot of programs and educational programs where she learned more about parenting. On her own, she went and checked out a book at the public library where she learned more about raising boys. And the Lena Pope home case manager would sit with her, her first language is not English, would sit with her and help her understand the book so that she learned other ways to parent this little boy. Well, it was a real turnaround for this woman. I cannot express to you how much she learned at that point. She realized that if she didn't change something, she was going to raise a man who was just like her father. And so that's what changed. She then went to Union Gospel Mission, where she lived in the Family Center program with her children. She did extremely well, got real involved with NA, was attending regularly, and then when she finished, she was able to move out of Union Gospel Mission. By this point, she'd reestablished contact with all of her family members who had written her off when she was using and drugging. And so she reconnected with them. They were very supportive, and they helped her move into an apartment. And she's living in an apartment now with her children, and she works, she cleans houses, and she also makes tortillas and makes salsa sometimes. And everybody drops in on her unannounced because we like to see that. And whenever anybody drops in, it's always the same thing. Kids are home after school, she's cooking, she's taking care of the kids, making sure they get their homework done, well, for Joseph, of course. And it smells like fresh tortillas, and she is in a different place now, and she is adamant that she is going to one day become an NA sponsor because she speaks Spanish, and there are not that many women Spanish-speaking sponsors in our community. So that is her goal. She is just, I think, one example of the many women we have in our program who I think will be successful and raise their children. The next several slides I won't really address because I'm almost up with time, but I think it's just an indication of the numbers that we're having right now, and that if you do want to peruse those and ask me any questions, or I would be happy to try to answer them. So, number of clients, UAs, we frequently drug test our clients, and we've had, majority of our UAs have come back clean, but we do have some ones that come back dirty, and we deal with that. That's part of the recovery process. Days in foster care, we return children a lot earlier than in a normal CPS case, and there's some numbers there about cost. And MHMR is doing an evaluation of our program right now, and so we're just now getting some numbers back from them. So we'll know more in the next several months. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we have two other items to bring to the court this morning. The first one is the federal stimulus package update. Just want to report that while our knowledge as far as new programs has not necessarily increased, we are meeting on a weekly basis on this. I think one thing that's happening, though, is that we're refining our knowledge in the areas that we know about, and we're trying to develop some additional funding requests as it relates to that, especially in some of the funding areas that the court is going to be considering as we move into the next fiscal year. So any monies that we can get from these stimulus funds that will offset any general revenue expenditures for next year, we're looking at fairly closely. So we'll keep you on track. We don't have anything specific to report today on. On item C is in your briefing agenda. There is a memorandum. It is in your red folder this morning from Mr. Mendez. The legislature had taken yesterday off, and they're back in session today, I understand. We're going to be hearing about the transportation bill today. Your Honor, I believe it is today, is it not?
It's up today at 11.
Okay. So I will attempt to answer any questions that you might have on that memorandum. I know that you've gotten it fairly late. If there are any questions that you have after you read it, well, just let me know and we'll try to answer them. With that, Your Honor, that's all we have this morning.
The Commissioners' Court will now recess the open session and proceed to closed session to discuss items exempt under Sections 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Having returned from closed session and being no business, to attend to at this time, we are adjourned.
Thank you, sir.